Hey folks, how's everyone doing today? We are going to be having our virtual hike down here at the Rock Creek Nature Trail just east of Nevada City. And so this is a really magical place. It's a very short trail, maybe a mile, mile and a half, no elevation changes, very easy, perfect for families and that kind of thing. And it's great to come down here in the summer and during the hot weather because it is almost entirely shaded and usually pretty cool, especially compared to a lot of the other trails. And so in this area, we have a lot of plants that have adopted the strategy of living off of the soil fungi instead of containing chlorophyll and making their own food from the sun because there's just not enough sun here for them. And so we're looking at one of those right now. This is our phantom orchid or ghost orchid. It is entirely white. It's our only all white orchid, although I should point out in the flower here, there is a teeny bit of yellow. So it's not an albino or anything like that. And yeah, so this one has a relationship with fungi in the soil. I believe it's fungi in the genus Thelaphora that they are tapping into. And it has an amazing smell, almost like vanilla cotton candy, something like that. And just a really ornate orchid that grows in these parts. And yeah, there's quite a few of them in this general area, and I'm right next to the parking lot now, so you don't even have to go far to see some of these gorgeous native plants. But yeah, let's head on down the trail. Oh, I did want to say one more thing. This hike was recommended by one of our viewers. They left a comment saying we should get out to the Rock Creek Nature Trail, and absolutely I had planned on getting here eventually, but that suggestion spurred me to get here a little sooner, and it seems like it is the perfect time, so thank you for that suggestion. And yeah, let's head on down the trail. So speaking of mycoheterotrophs, this one is in the blueberry family, and you can see it's got little bell-shaped flowers right here. They kind of look like blueberry flowers, don't they? That's a pretty common thing. Manzanitas have flowers like that, madrones, yeah, all the viciniums. And so this one is another one that lacks chlorophyll. It is reddish with these white flowers. You might be familiar with it. It's called Woodland pine drops. And it is very glandular, very sticky. So it's not something you want to really touch. But here, get a closer look at those. How gorgeous is that plant? And so these can actually get to like almost 4 feet tall, and they're found pretty much in woodland areas in the understory from here and all the way up to into Tahoe, the Tahoe area. So keep your eye out for them. Yeah, and this one I believe is parasitizing rhizopogon fungi, which rhizopogons are our underground truffles. So yeah, they're parasitizing a mushroom which never shows its head above ground, unless maybe like a squirrel digs it up or something like that. But yeah, woodland pine drops. Very cool. Well, here's a really interesting and uncommon plant that grows in this area. This one is called twin flower. It is, I believe it's Linnea borealis, and it's a real low-growing plant that spreads by rhizomes in these kind of shady, wetter areas, and called twin flower because the flowers rise above the plants in pairs like this. You really don't see this one around very often, but it's down here at Rock Creek. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous little plant. And yeah, you can see it's kind of all throughout here forming this ground cover mat. And let's see, there's some other interesting plants around here. We have more of the phantom orchid popping out of there. And this guy here, we've profiled on former videos, but that is our native hazelnut. It's another one of these sprawling, deciduous trees that kind of make the lighting down here so magical. Another one would be this dogwood. This is the black fruit dogwood. It's Cornus sessilis, and you'll never find it far from water. And both of those trees can deal with the low light conditions down here at Rock Creek. This tree, which is just coated in moss, very shaggy bark. And these needles, which are held in one plane and irregularly sized, so there's some of different sizes. This is Taxus brevifolia. This is our Pacific yew tree. Fairly uncommon. Again, another one of these that grows close to the creek. Will grow in canyons and small drainages, and is increasingly disappearing because Taxus contains a compound called Taxol, and that is used, it's actually one of our best cancer treatment medicines. So it was over harvested for a bit, but it's still hanging on in our area. Pretty much around the Nevada-Placer County line is as far south as this plant goes, and then it'll occur going up into Northern California. And yeah, really beautiful, irregular looking tree. You can see there's the branches up there. Get another look at that twin flower. Let's see, what else can we find down here by the creek? We have Mianthemum racemosum. That is the false Solomon seal. Gorgeous little plant, done flowering. There's a couple berries on there now. There's the American trail plant, Adenocolon bicolor, which again, we've profiled these ones. They're fairly common. There's that white leaf underside. This right here is Gallium triflorum, which has relatively wide leaflets, and they're in whorls of 6. There's a little flower right there, very tiny flowers. And they call this one the fragrant bedstraw, but I'm not exactly sure why, because it doesn't have a smell. But it's pretty common. You can find it in these low light areas. Big leaf maple, another broadleaf deciduous tree. We have Tellema grandiflora. That is the fringe cups, and they're pretty much done flowering right here. But when they are in full flower, they have these really gorgeous lacy petals. This is a really good garden plant. In areas that get some shade, it won't do too well out of the shade, and it does like to be kind of near water, but it can deal with some dry conditions as well. We have the lady fern, Ethereum filix femina, that grows in wet areas, and it is a winter deciduous fern, so that means it goes dormant in the winter time and will regrow each spring and just kind of exist throughout the summer. There's another fern, the wood fern, which is evergreen and looks very much like that. It will grow in drier areas in the forest. And this right here is, oh, here's some flowers. This is Camophila umbellata. They call it Pipsissewa or Prince's Pine, and it's a member of the blueberry family. And it's a mycoheterotroph, so it is partially, because it does have some green, it can make some of its own food, but it's partially subsisting off of soil fungi and just kind of grows rhizomatically, makes these little patches. And I'm really a big fan of those flowers. They're something else. They almost look like fake flowers, don't they? And they're pointed down, so you might not even notice them. Most of these don't have any flowers, but we're lucky enough to find one at least. Here's a common plant in the carrot family. This is Osmorrhiza bertorii. It's a mountain sweet Sicily. We have a couple Osmorrhiza species. This one has the most entire leaf, so it has these 3 leaflets, but each of the leaflets is entire. Some of the other ones have compound leaflets, and it's already gone to seed. It's these little guys right here. And if you like licorice, those seeds are edible and taste like licorice. It's a little kind of insignificant trail snack you could have, but be very careful because many carrot family plants are very poisonous, so be absolutely sure you have the right plant before eating anything that looks like it might be in the carrot family. And you know what, just be absolutely sure before you eat any plant out there, because you never know. All right, let's see what else we can find. So here we have one of our native violet species. This is Viola. Viola is the genus for violets. Viola lobata, subspecies lobata. And so this one has yellow flowers, like a lot of our native ones. There's a small amount of purple blush on the back of those top two petals. But check out these hand-shaped leaves right here. Lobata for lobed. This is really unique. So we have another species that's kind of like this one. Yellow flowers, purple on the back, lobed leaves. However, you'll notice this is just a single leaf that is lobed. So it's a simple leaf is the name for that. And then the other one will be, the lobes will be much skinnier, and it'll be a compound leaf. So meaning it's made of several leaflets. And that one's the Shelton's violet. That's not what we have here. This is the pine violet. And in our area, we pretty much exclusively have the subspecies lobata, which has to do with how deeply lobed it is. There's another species, subspecies in the northern areas called integrifolia, in where the lobes are not as deep. It's actually quite, it kind of looks almost like this leaflet, even less lobed than that, where it comes up to a point. It's very like heart-shaped. But that one doesn't occur around here. We just simply have lobata lobata. So I briefly mentioned Cornus sessilis, our black fruit dogwood, and check it out. There's one of the fruits right there. And so it's not quite ripe yet, so it hasn't taken on its black coloration. But yeah, it usually has one little dangling fruit hanging from the tips of the branches. And one other interesting thing to note about this species is that it flowers before the leaves come out. So that's actually true of a lot of kind of dogwoods, but this one especially so. The flowers are kind of inconspicuous, or these little yellowish, greenish flowers. And it's one of my favorite things when the spring is starting, is to go out and find some dogwoods and look at those flowers before they come out. And yeah, so there's the fruit right there. And that fruit is technically edible, but it's really unpalatable. They do not taste good. I've heard some people say they taste like olives. I don't find that to be the case. I think they taste like disgusting. So yeah, probably not worth eating. And but yeah, it's cool to see. Black fruit dogwood. All right, this little gorgeous plant here is another one of our native orchids. And this one is usually found in the understory, and though it does have some green, it's making a little bit of its own food. Look at the veination on that. Isn't that stunning? And it will kind of make these little troops, and you'll see a bunch of them occurring in the same area. This one's not quite flowering yet. It's one of the later flowering orchids we have. This is the rattlesnake plantain. This is Goodyeara, oblongifolia, I believe is the species name. And yeah, this one is probably our most common orchid, and because these leaves persist even in the winter time, you can find them year-round, although they flower for a pretty short period, and their flowers are a lot less showy than most of our other native orchids, but it's still a treat to see. And you know, so many orchids here is a sign that this is a very healthy fungal area. There's lots of fungal diversity in the soil that all of these various mycoheterotrophs can subsist off of. So yeah, rattlesnake plantain. All right, now this plant is a special treat. This is extremely uncommon. It is the fringed pine sap. It's another one of those plants in the blueberry family that requires soil fungi to get its food. You'll see it has no green. And so this one's already post-flowering. Those are the little seed pods. Now this is where the seeds are developing. But it's growing right out of this stump. So I don't think it split the stump there, but it's certainly making its way out. Here's another one very close by. And so, yeah, all of these plants have evolved the capacity to grow in these deep shade environments because they don't require the sun to get their food. It's something that's characteristic of the monotropes, which is a subsect of the heath family, the blueberry family, that's Ericaceae. And many of them are really stunning, really beautiful, and the ecology is interesting to boot. So what a treat to see that one. And, you know, I think that's where we will cut this video. It's a very short trail, the Rock Creek Trail here. So short trail, short video. But, you know, if you like this, give it a like, subscribe to our channel. If you have suggestions for future hikes, leave them down in the comments. Check out our Facebook page, our forum. We're on Instagram. All of those links are in the description below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching.